their jackets, known for action with them ratchets. While I was just coolin', writing raps, eating snacks and shit. 300 racks I spent just to sit in back and get hived in the mud, looking down on them scrubs. How could you hate your brother when I'm just like you? Except I did what I said that I would do. Erase the hate and let the sun shine through. Apply yourself, fool. You can live out your dreams too.
1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. All right, we back in the place to be. All right, we should be back and we should be good. Having little internet problems. I had to polish it out, had to iron it out. So before we get started, I'm going to go ahead and share, and hopefully we don't have any major problems with this going forward. So let me go ahead and edit and share. You got any comments? Please. Got any comments? Please go ahead and speak your mind. That's what it's here for. And I'm going to go ahead and put the phone line up. If you guys want to call, you can. We was having a little bit of technical difficulties. I'm like, golly, what's happening? I just used this joint the other day and everything was working just A-okay. But I'm like, hold on, maybe because I'm about to, get into some talk. You know what I mean? Some talk-a-rooney. I'm like, well, maybe they don't want me to talk about it. Maybe they don't want me to talk about it. Maybe they don't want me to go too deep into the rabbit hole. So let me drink to that. And we'll begin to talk. If you want to leave a comment, please leave a comment. We'll talk for like maybe 30 to 45 minutes about things. And we'll go from there. But let's go ahead and talk about what's happening in news right now. And what's happening right now in the news, everybody is talking about what's going on with Venezuela, what's going on with the president of Venezuela, who got captured by the U.S. military come the other day. So we're going to go ahead and share once again, because sharing is caring. It's always caring. And what's going on with that situation is quite simple. It's not as really hard as complicated as people, want to talk about or say. What's happening in a nutshell is this. 2 to 3 things can be correct at the same time, y'all. I mean, just because, United States did go into Venezuela because there is a drug cartel problem. It's not only a drug cartel problem, there is an immigration problem that keeps migrating here into the United States. There is also a problem where the oil refineries are not producing enough oil because of the administration that was in power in Venezuela. And here go a couple of real facts about Venezuela and about their president that got captured. So in 2014, July 2024, the 28th day, the guy that you see on the screen here actually lost the election, his election, to become or to remain the president of Venezuela. He lost that election. He lost it to Edmundo Gonzalez, and he was supposed to be their next president of Venezuela. After years, I guess, believing of economic failure, crime off the roof, off the chains, people wanted to change. Maduro, the guy that you see down here that got captured, and he got the Stevie Wonder shades on. he didn't want to go. Nicolas Maduro. He didn't want to go. So, in essence, he became a dictator. And that's what happens when someone supposedly has a democratic society. They are voted out by the people. And even though being voted out by the people, they didn't step down and let the next regime or the next administration, whatever you want to call it, not let them take power. They kept power by force. With that being said, this guy Maduro was known to be a kingpin, heading and abetting, or the drug cartels. And the majority, let's just keep it real, the majority of the drug cartel business is the United States. Let's just keep it real. And let's keep this playing behind me. We got to keep the flag waving, baby. So I'm hearing a lot of things that's going on Facebook, YouTube, and I'm hearing a lot of people, and they stating their dissatisfaction through post, through their understanding. But let's look at it from another point of view. The regime that was in Venezuela had to go. Straight up. The people of Venezuela ain't even tripping off this guy. People worried about a war impending with Venezuela. Come on, people, let's think about this. You got to really understand what you're dealing with. Like Venezuela, the army of Venezuela is roughly around 60 to 65,000. This is just the army of enlisted. 65,000 people. For real. There ain't going to be no war. What's going on, bro? Hey, man, I had the hardest time trying to get this stream going, man. But I want to talk about it, bro. Like, yeah, at the same time, the United States went in there to stop a corrupt regime. They did also go in there to reap the rewards of the benefits of oil. Now, yeah, Venezuela produces more oil than actually Saudi Arabia. They have raw crude oil there. But let's just really think about what's going on, man. You have a regime that's in Venezuela that shouldn't even be there, number one, because they lost over a year and a half ago. The president of that country shouldn't even be the president. He's the head of the cartels, shipping them all the shit over here to the United States. Not only that, gangs and cartel emptying their prisons and all that bush, for real, into the United States. Let's keep it real. Not only that, you have all this oil that's there, right? If the United States didn't go down there and do what they did, don't you think Russia, don't you think China was looking at that place to go and take over? They ships was already, they were already there pretty much. So did you, look, man, at the end of the day, I'm not saying that the United States is not guilty of wrongdoings in the world. But a lot of people be showing a lot of respect and a lot of compassion for other countries and people that ain't even here in the United States. and you don't even respect and support your brother that's down the street. I was talking to my dog not too long, and I'm not saying do not support Venezuela, do not support Ukraine and all these other places around the world, but you don't even support your damn brother that's down the street. Let's say, for instance, Jermaine Max Main. How many people are actually supporting him? But I see so many people put up the Venezuelan flag. I'm gonna put your comment up, bro. We support Venezuela. We support Ukraine. We support Mexico. We support Canada. We with them. They forget that y'all damn Americans at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So would you rather, it's a lot to talk about and it's a lot of touching points. I want to talk. We had 1 hour war and actually got the guy to face trial. Anyone else would have killed him. Dude, that's what I was saying, bruh. Anybody else would have killed him. Also, Biden put a $25 million reward on his head. Wish I could have kidnapped. Bro, check this out. And I'm glad you just said this, Max. I'm going to put up the phone number, dog. Maybe you need to call in. Did anybody have all of this uproar and outrage when, I'm glad you said that, when Obama went and killed Muammar Gaddafi in Libya? You know, black people really got, it's like black people got selective outrage and they don't really look at the shit things. They just you want not to like a guy so much that you take every single thing that this man does and be like, and I'm not saying that the man don't be fucking up and doing some bad things. I'm not saying that. But some people just want not to like this dude so much. Talking about Donald Trump. I happen to like the dude. I happen to think that he's stronger president than Biden would have been in these times. Like I know some unpopular decisions have been made from most people that I know. They feel like unpopular decisions, but you had to stop a lot of the stuff that was going on here. You had to put a hold to it. You had to. But this situation right here had to really be nailed up real quick. People up here talking about, we're going to plunge us into another war. Ain't no other place Americans can go. Everybody want to come here. We talk so bad about this country, y'all. And we support all these other different countries. But you act like you don't want to support yours. At the end of the day, this country, you know, look, bro, I'm not with the history of this country and a lot of the ills and the bad things that happen, but this country is just as much as mine as it is a person of another persuasion. And whatever this country put its hand to do, I want it to win, actually. I don't want China or Russia to get the oil that's in Venezuela. If anybody get it, I want the United States to control it. Why would I want the oil to be controlled by ultimately Russia or China? There's only 3 superpowers in the world. United States is still hanging on by a thread as being number 1. Yeah, you got China and Russia swiftly behind. There ain't nothing else after that. And you got these little things like, you know, United Kingdom and this and that. But the United Kingdom and Canada and all these are countries that are more or less dependent on the United States for protection, and they support the United States, but pretty much we the big dog for them. You know, and then you got places like Germany, Italy, and things like that that are in coalition with the United States. Then you have with Russia, or you have with China, their allies are Iran and in different little places around the world. They got their supporting cast. They got their little homies. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's really jockeying for a position. Don't think that Russia and don't think that Russia and don't think that China wasn't eyeing Venezuela to get that, because it's a honeypot. So at the end of the day, look, that regime had to be taken out down there in Venezuela. They were shipping lots of narcotics, lots of drugs, lots of bad things that you do not want in your neighborhoods. It's just, it is what it is, man. And it's the truth. Let's really look how much drugs was happening. Is oil offset of that? That's the spoils of war. That's the spoils of anything. Any time anybody goes into a country and does any type of military operation for real and occupy it, you're going to get something from it. But did we say anything about that with Libya? And what did we get out of Libya? What did we get from them? You know what I mean? So when that happened, what did we get out of when people talking about attacking a sovereign country? Well, how is a country sovereign when it's ruled by a dictator, somebody that's been voted out? And the people of Venezuela, majority don't want that man there. And you know, face a trial for war crime. Look, we can go back and forth with the semantics, man. I'm just seeing a lot of people talking about a lot of stuff that they don't really understand or don't know. So can I say I'm in agreement with everything that the United States or the leadership does? No. But ultimately, I'm here in this country, and I want ultimately the United States to win at everything that it does, because ultimately it benefits me, your children, mine, us as a whole. Why would I, you know, sometimes you have to exercise power through strength, peace through strength. The United States bent for a long time, really, these last couple of years before, 2025. It really did. A lot of people was coming and getting a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff internationally was happening. And United States resources was just getting obliterated. A lot of stuff that U.S. citizens, natural born citizens, were entitled to weren't being honored, but were given to people that don't even supposed to be here legally. Nothing's wrong with people coming to the United States because it's still, honestly, the best country in the world. People are dying to get here. But I think the United States is so much at a teeter-tot right now. It's so delicate at this point, the country is. It's really teeter-totting. It's teeter-totting on actually losing itself and not being number one anymore. Number one in the world far as might, economics. We're really at that point where you stretch yourself, and that's anybody. Just take it on an individualistic situation. Say you've been strong for 20 years and you done stretched yourself so thin by helping everybody and taking in and doing this and doing that, fighting other people's wars, joining this, being the police for people over here and doing this and that. Now you're getting older. Money, the world, or the economics around you have changed. Things have changed, and you have to adapt to the times, and you still have your home to take care of. Well, now you can't take in kinfolk down the street and this person and that person in, and you can't be the police for this person and that person. That's where this country is. So we have to be very responsible with resources, taxpayer resources, and that's ultimately at the end of the day. I pay taxes. Jermaine paid taxes. My son paid taxes. Everybody that paid taxes, where our tax dollars go, should really be, in my opinion, cognizant and very attentive on where the taxpayer money has been going over the last 5-6 years. Especially the last 5 years before it got cut off. Things had to change. They have to change. Now, with this whole Venezuelan thing, I believe nobody likes a loss of life, conflict. I don't like conflict. I don't like conflict. I like to be peaceful. But sometimes you have to go in and lay some shit down, y'all. And let other people know you're not playing. So I don't, sometimes showing strength, sometimes showing resilience is a deterrent for a major conflict that can happen down the road. Best believe other countries around the world saw what happened and said, you know what? There is leadership right now, anyways, that's in power in the United States, that we just can't run and just do anything we want to do right now. We gonna chill out. And I'm all for being diplomatic, but the United States has been getting kicked around for a little while now. For real. I mean, a lot of countries have been really. Let's say, for instance, let's talk about what's been going on in Venezuela. There was Americanized companies that were in Venezuela that were overtaken and overran by the cartels. There were oil industries and different industries in Venezuela, but got ran over in Venezuela and had to leave. Left with millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars of equipment left. So you got American companies and contractors that's there working in Venezuela, bringing millions of dollars for the infrastructure there, also trying to create wealth and maybe some import back into the United States, however that go. I don't know everything. But then you have cartels overpowering, overrunning those situations that these companies were bringing in. So you have to protect your interest overall. And let's best believe the only real import and export that Venezuela has legal is oil. They haven't really been producing oil. They have oil, but they have not been producing it at a level where that country can actually benefit from. And over the last 10 or 15 years, far as my research. And the reason that they haven't been able to produce the oil or their natural resource, is because cartels, because of the drug lords overrunning the country, overtaking the refineries. So I want to maybe in the next days to come to kind of break down refineries, because I learned a lot of stuff about oil. I thought oil was just oil. You know what I mean? That was in the ground. There's different types, and different countries produce different kinds. The United States produces a lot of oil, but it does not. The United States produces oil actually that looks like almost like cream soda. It looks like this a little bit. You can have oil that's clear. It's called shale oil. And the United States produces a lot of shale oil, but it takes, there's not a lot of refineries that once you get oil, you just can't use it just because you get it or you have it. You have to have refineries. So what the United States does is take that shale oil and they trade it for crude oil. And that crude oil is cheaper to refine than shale oil. So we do produce a lot of oil here in the United States, but we do not, and that's what a lot of countries do. They produce or have oil, but they trade it for different types of oil. So I learned a lot about it. But with this situation in Venezuela is, quite honestly, it's not what people are on the media talking about. It's not, as far as their understanding is kind of limited. I'm understanding that they just don't like a guy so much that they want to be able to pin something like he's taken over. Also, was the whole Nigeria situation. People not understanding that Nigeria asked the United States, asked the man to come over there and get these people out of there. So people are, Nigeria asked for that to happen. Now, what is the United States getting from Nigeria? Hey, that's between them, and that's between whatever an agreement they made. But Nigeria, the prime minister or the president over there in Nigeria asked the United States to come over and help them get out these militias and these people that's over there causing problems. So, a lot of times people just, again, don't just not like somebody, not to be liking them. Try to understand what is going on, why it's happening. There are plenty of bad people around on this earth, and quite honestly, there's a big reason why everybody is still trying to get here. I hear a lot of people talking about they want to try to get out the United States. Well, where the hell is you going to go? And go live. What education you got and what you going to do and that you can go over? Where you going? And what type of wage you going to get? People talk more than a little bit. Talking about they want to go live in Africa. Go ahead. Go on over there if you want to. Go on over here and over there if you want to. Go. Now, I ain't saying that there ain't no great and good places in Africa. Absolutely there is. But go. I bet you be trying to get back real soon. And all these people that are talking about they trying to get out ain't went nowhere. Bet you ain't taking your butt over there in Africa. You can't get over there and talk the shit that you talk over here. You be locked up. You be killed. You know what I mean? So at the end of the day, listen, man. A lot of people just act like they don't even like, look, at the end of the day, the country, our country, the United States has mega problems, has great injustices that has happened throughout its course. But there's also been some great things that have happened in this country. Our people and every other creed that has came to this country, Black, white, Asian, Hispanic, Native, everybody that has touched this soil and has been here has contributed, some more than others. Some have been unrecognized and some have. But at the end of the day, I'm rooting for whatever that this country puts its hand to, that it actually prospers with it. Because ultimately, don't you live here? Do you want Russia or China? Honestly, ask this question. Do you want Russia or China running that whole oil reserve down there? You think gas is high now? You know what I mean? So I'd rather the United States have it, say run it up until whatever the agreement is, until the transition of what's happening. I don't think the United States, in my opinion, is looking to occupy Venezuela. I think they're there up until, there's a transfer of a new president. And of course, the president, whoever they get, is going to be handpicked. That's how it go. That's how it go, y'all. If you knew world history, that's how it go. That happens. The same thing happened when Russia do shit, when China do stuff, when Great Britain do stuff. It's the same thing. They pick their guy. It's just the same thing you would do. You go buy a company, you take over a company, boom, boom, you bring in your people. You bring in your guys. That's what happens. I'm going to bring my guys in. I'm going to make sure this thing is ran the way we need to be ran. I'm going to get hands off, let you go ahead and do it. You need us, bam, boom, bam. Really, at the end of the day, the people in South America, which Venezuela is in South America, and some people don't even know that, it's going to probably bring a little stability down there, quite honestly, because people were pretty much kind of happy that my mans got out of there. And the same, what's going on, Danny? And the same outrage that people have for this situation with this president that just got taken out, that wasn't supposed to be the president, why don't we have the same outrage again when Muammar Gaddafi, the same thing happened to Muammar Gaddafi, but they killed him and the president was Barack Obama. Same thing. Same thing happened. Pretty much. And they went and put their guy in. Why did they kill Muammar Gaddafi? See, you can't have selective outrage. And this is the problem that I have with black people. Like, we be ignorant about a lot of stuff. For real. We just jump on back. We wagon thinkers. We herd mentality a lot of times. We don't have a lot of individuals that think like, X, Y, and Z or chess, in a chess way, like this happened because of that. You're not looking at things like in the proper perspective. But, a lot of us are scared, as far as black people are scared to state our opinion because we want not to stray away from the pack. I don't really care. And I speak what's on my mind. But the same thing, let's look at it. The same thing that happened with this guy was the same thing that happened to Muammar Gaddafi. And those same people that's talking all this junk ain't say nothing about when Barack Obama did it. But this is a real, so in my opinion, learn a little bit about that part of the world besides just vacationing and you think it's just South America and you just thinking, hey, this is a good place to vacation and blah, 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 blah. A lot of, yeah. These places, look, man, these countries at the end of the day have benefited a lot from the United States. If you really want to think about why a lot of stuff does, okay, I'm going to take it to this level too. You want to really know why a lot of stuff doesn't happen to Canada, Mexico, or South America? It's all because of the United States. The reason why nobody attacks or really like China and them, they might float around and they might have their sheeps. They might have their sheeps. They might have their ships down there in South America and off the border and all of that down in there. They might be fishing around, seeing what's happening. You notice when they was doing that shit when Biden was in, they was, you remember when they was talking about China had their ships off the coast of Florida? Y'all remember that? I bet them ships ain't there no more. They ain't there no more. But they were down there snooping around trying to find, because they want access and they want to control the Panama Canal also, because that is a big import-export. Strategic things that not just countries, continents are ruled by. When you kind of deal with when you're dealing with the Panama Canal, you're looking at controlling a continent at that point, because that controls a lot of the import exports that countries depend on that continent. And the reason why they fishing around is because if they can get, or say if China or Russia can take control of the Panama Canal, then you really kind of got control of a whole continent. The only reason they don't, and they pressed their luck and they fished around there for years and many years, probing and seeing how far they can get, is because they weren't getting any resistance. But they was close to saying, like, you know what, we can just go ahead and probably take the Panama Canal or whatever else down there in South America, because when you look at South America, what is the strong country in South America that you can depend on to come help defend you? Let's look at the countries of South America, and they all beautiful people. But let's look at the South American countries. Let's just look at what they are. We got Brazil, Argentina, Venezuela. Let me go ahead and pull this up for you guys. Panama that we were just talking about. Ecuador, Peru, Chile, Bolivia, the Amazon Republic. So you have all of these countries of South America. Who's really protecting these countries? Like I just told y'all in the very beginning, Venezuela has an army. These are all independent countries on the one continent. What country, Venezuela has an army of 65 65,000 people. Who they gonna protect themselves from if somebody wanted to come take they shit? Nobody. They can't protect themselves from Russia or China. You know why Russia or China has not came and invaded and took all this shit? You know why? It's only one reason why. It's because of the United States. Because if you mess with South America, you're messing with North America. If you mess with South America, you messing up a whole heap of trading routes and routes that deal with me and your livelihood. A lot of stuff that me and you get, eat, drink, comes from down here. So if you have another country down there fishing around, looking to take over it, all the United States really needed was an excuse to go do this. And it kind of helped the people out because the people didn't want the guy there no way. And plus, a lot of drug shipment and a lot of stuff was, okay, we're going to go down here. We're going to clean up and get this guy out of here. We're going to get that kind. We're going to go ahead and, you know what? We got a lot of our damn refineries there anyway. We're going to go ahead and, we're going to reap some benefits of some oil because at the end of the day, Russia and China was on their way to take it anyways. So who would you rather have it? China, Russia, or United States? I would say the United States. That's where I'd rather have it. And also, because best believe if Russia or China was coming eventually to take over some of these parts here, you know, damn good and well they was going to come and take the damn Panama Canal too. So, you know, in a nutshell, I think really maybe the right thing was done. No American citizens was hurt. Ultimately, I think that made the region, I don't think it destabilized it at all. The guy got voted out anyways. He shouldn't be the president anyways because he lost. And let me show you that. Again, because people just don't know what the hell they be talking about, man. Let me see here. I want to go ahead and show you this. The guy lost. On 28th July 2024, Venezuela voted overwhelmingly to elect opposition candidate Armando Gonzalez as their next president. So, the guy that they got, this guy on the screen, he ain't even the president. He ain't even supposed to be the president. At all. At all. So why are people up in arms? Do they even know what they up in arms about? So I'm going to play this clip. Let's see what the president was talking about.
Late last night and early today, at my direction, the United States Armed Forces conducted an extraordinary military operation in the capital of Venezuela. It was a force against a heavily fortified military fortress in the heart of Caracas to bring outlaw dictator Nicolas Maduro to justice, but captured along with his wife, Celia Flores, both of whom now face American justice. Maduro and Flores have been indicted in the Southern District of New York. We're going to run the country until such time as we can do a safe, proper, and judicious transition. So we don't want to be involved with having somebody else get in, and we have the same situation that we had for the last long period of years. So we are going to run the country. Very importantly, the embargo on all Venezuelan oil remains in full effect. The American Armada remains poised in position, and the United States retains all military options until United States demands have been fully met.
The U.S. running the country mean that U.S. troops will be on the ground? How will that work?
Well, you know, they always say boots on the ground. Oh, so we're not afraid of boots on the ground if we have to have. We had boots on the ground last night at a very high level, actually. We're not afraid of it. We don't mind saying it.
Are you saying that Secretary Hegseth and Rubio are going to be running Venezuela, and will you be sending in U.S. military troops to provide?
They're going to be a team that's working with the people of Venezuela to make sure that we have Venezuela right. Because for us to just leave, who's going to take over? I mean, there is nobody to take over. You have a vice president who's been appointed by Maduro, and right now she's the vice president, and she's, I guess, the president. She was sworn as president just a little while ago. She had a long conversation with Marco, and she said, we'll do whatever you need. I think she was quite gracious, but she really doesn't have a choice.
She really don't have a choice. She don't have a choice. She don't have a choice, y'all. You know what I mean? And she don't have a choice. She don't have a choice. So, and from what I'm hearing about who that vice president is, also in Venezuela, she's a piece of work too. You know, so I mean, all these leaders, you know, got something going on around the world. I'm just saying, at the end of the day, choose and understand what to be upset about. You know, why it is happening, what's going on internationally, why this was probably a real important move to happen. Because just let's play devil advocate real quick before I get out of here. What if China, Russia, or even in tandem, China and Russia, took control of Venezuela or partnered with Venezuela and said, hey, you know what? We got y'all back. Give us your, and they was probably there already. You know what I mean? Working on ways to incentivize Venezuela and basically run Venezuela in a pseudo type of way behind the scenes where you don't see them. You see Venezuela president, quote unquote president, that really wasn't the president, thinking or saying he's in power, but really there is Russian or China influence as their major decision-making process going forward. Now you have people at the south of the border of you, not far from the mainland United States, and your enemies right there at your doorstep. Real enemies. I ain't talking about little enemies. I'm talking about the real enemies. You know, so it's kind of like, I don't think us as people, we really understand or really look at international. We look at things just from a, you know, and we don't think of our own. We don't think on our own what the implications would have been if this probably wouldn't have happened. You know, but I could put it like this. At the end of the day, this is where I'm at, right here. Right or wrong, with what, you know, a lot of things that this country has done. A lot. And we can't, and nor should we forget it, and can't forget it. But this is what we at. And this is just as much as I'm a part of this country, just as much as any my ancestors did the most for this country. It's just so crazy to me that we, at this point, I'm just talking about black people for the most part, we want to support and jump on everybody else's bandwagon and don't know what the hell we talking about. We want to jump on and support the Venezuelans, support the Ukrainians, support the blah, blah, blah. We don't know what we supporting. We just do it. Because I see it, because we'll put little flags on our Facebook. We support France. We support whoever have a disaster and whoever have a cause. We be supporting them. But you don't even support my man that's down the street that got a business. You support everybody but yourself. See, that's my thing with us, black folk. And the reason I could talk like this is because really black folk don't really help me like that. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not, you know, and the people that do, I help them just as much as they help me. So we're helping each other. But in order for us to actually help each other, we have to not be afraid to speak our mind and speak truth of what the real is. We support everybody else and support every other cause. Won't support ourselves. Don't make sense. Like I say, the country's really at a teeter-tot. It's so fragile really right now. And people talk a lot about this country, but you ain't going nowhere, buddy. Y'all talk all this junk about you wish you could leave. Hey, you got a passport. Leave. Go. Let's see how you do. You know what I'm saying? You be trying to get your ass back here, I'm telling you, for the most part. You know, it just, there's a reason why people all everywhere is trying to get here. There's a big, huge reason why everybody is trying to get here. You don't hear nobody else trying to kill themselves, trying to get no other country. If this so bad here, in X, Y, and Z, go get on your phone, go to China, take your iPhone with you, Android, whatever you use, go over there and get on TikTok and say something about the president over there and see what happened to you. Go over there and talk about the governor over there. Go over there and talk about the mayor or however however they thing is over there set up. Go over there and talk about and get online and talk about them. Since this country is so bad and it got problems, I'm not saying that it ain't. And I'm not saying that we don't. But go to Russia, go to China, go to these different places, get on your phone while you over there and talk about how bad their leadership is. You're going to come back with no fingers. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be in jail. You might be dead in front of a firing squad since this country's so bad. You know what I mean? You at least in a place where, for now anyway, you can have a quote unquote freedom of speech. You can express your opinion. You can challenge government. You can challenge opinions. You can have a voice to make change. These other places, you ain't got that. And for the most part. For the most part. You know what I mean? So you got to be kind of thankful for where you are and where God placed you. You know, regardless how we got that we here or how we're, you know. What's up, Black Mamba? But go to these other places since this country is so, you know, X, Y, and Z. Because I keep hearing that. You know what I'm saying? You can't wait to get up out of here. Look, Canada is right up the street. Canada is 25 minutes away from where I'm located right now, Metro Detroit. If you don't like the United States so bad, you got your passport. You can cross the Ambassador Bridge tonight. Or you can go in the tunnel tonight and don't come back. Go get a job if you can find one in Canada, because Canadian economy is suffering right now. So you better just stay here, you know, and be happy where you at. A lot of people talk a lot of junk, you know what I mean, about, you know, X, Y, and Z. So again, before, you know, I've seen a lot of media coverage and a lot of people talking about what's happening with Venezuela. Just understand this is more and bigger than just what you've seen and understanding. Empire is everywhere. Face the devil, you know, and make a change. I feel you. And I'm gonna be straight up with you. Bruh, I got so much to say about what I really think. For real, for real. I really feel they tried to take this man out right here because he wasn't really with them like that. For real, for real. Yeah, it's just crazy. I really got some real major thoughts on, you know, but I really, yeah, maybe I should really explore that coming up this week and talk about where did the hate really come from for him? Because black people used to really love this guy. I don't really know where people started hating him at. The trajectory that this country really was headed on, was a bad place. For real. They already said the de facto leader they want to is cool as long as they do it. Hey, and that's good. That's good. Hey, that when you hire a manager, look, you the boss, right? And you hire a manager, you want them to do what you want them to do, right? Hey, that's how I look at it. This is how I look at it. Put somebody in control that you know hey, you know what? Because like I was saying, Mamba, I was telling the people and I was showing the people roughly. I'm going to show you real quick. The guy wasn't the guy wasn't supposed to be the president anyway. He got voted out. He wasn't the president. On July 28, 2024, the Venezuelans overwhelmingly to elect opposition candidate Armando Gonzalez as their next president. So this guy really wasn't even ain't even the president that got captured. He got voted out. He had got voted out. And he said, they're going, hey, look, I think the Venezuelan problem is our problem. I think the Venezuelan problem is our problem because you know why Venezuelan problem is our problem? Because we have a lot of Venezuelans that are here and that have came here and been released here. A lot of the Indian, it's all set in, it's all connected. A lot of the illegal immigration came from Venezuela. A lot of the drugs and the importation came from Venezuela. So it is an American problem. And you got to kind of watch what's going on and dictate, in a way, not be a dictator, but kind of, steer this thing because you can't have the wrong person come in there and the same thing start happening all over again. You could have, okay, let me see what you say. Boom. Let me see. You just gave Russia, China, the entire crew permission to create permission structure. Let me see what you're talking about here. The group of major emerging economies, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South America, plus Egypt, Ethiopia, Iran, Indonesia, focused on political, economic cooperation. Okay. So Brazil, Russia, India, China. This is what I was talking about earlier, and I'm glad you said that. See, I'm glad you just said that. We were just talking about before, I don't know how long ago you popped on. I was talking about how Russia and China were already snooping around in South America off the shores, trying to find a way to infiltrate. It's all about oil. Yes, it is. But you do not want, China is invested in Venezuela heavily. I see what you're saying. But why? They want to control the oil reserves just as much as the United States do and as much as Russia want to. They all want a piece of Venezuela because Venezuela is the highest producing crude oil in the whole entire world. So they want a piece of that, or they want it to themselves so they can control it. Why would I want China or why would I want Russia or India to have control? If somebody's going to have control of it, why would I want those two countries to be that? Because at the end of the day, is it going to benefit me that Russia or China or India BRICS, which is Brazil, Russia, Brazil, we know Brazil. Brazil is right next to Venezuela. So Venezuela, BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China, South Africa, and all that. Why would I want China or why would I want Russia or why would I want India controlling any parts of Venezuela, of South America, right at the south of the border of the United States? It's all strategic. There's strategic reasons why China wants to be down there in South America. You know why? Because even for military or for a military purpose, militarily, Russia or China being in South America is not good news for the United States. And you know that. Why would you? I don't want China or Russia at the very, it doesn't. It's not a good thing. You know what I mean? Go down there and put a couple of military bases down there, help the Venezuelans people, you know what I mean, get their act together, whatever the case may be. Hey, look, it happens all over like you say, it's all about resources. It's all about, and if it's all about resources, cool. And we're going to stop. 2 to 3 things could be true at the same time. Yeah, it's all about oil, but it's also about strategic military position. It's also about strategic military position. You don't want Russia and you don't want India and you don't want China on your south border. You just don't want it. You do not want it. You don't want it because, I mean, that's just terrible. You don't want that. You do not want that. And if anybody's going to control an oil reserve or oil, I would want it to be the United States. Manufactured a drug war created for war. Then who stays in the ballot if we at war? So then who stays on the ballot if we are at war? Manufacture is deeper. Have you thought deeper than that? It's the same premise for Iraq. Well, who took us into Iraq? Look, the same. And before you got on, I talked about this too. I talked about how Barack Obama brought us into Libya, and we did the same thing with Muammar Gaddafi. We went into there and Muammar and not took him as prisoner and put him on trial. We took him and killed Muammar Gaddafi, and then set up shop with bases over there. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yo, United States got land imprint in Libya. You know what I'm saying? And doing things and getting a benefit from there too. It's all strategic at the end of the day. It's only so much land. And I'm not saying this is the way of the world. It's all chess. It's all chess. But why would you want China or that's just like saying Russia comes and takes over Canada. Now, Russia touches Canada, or touches Alaska, but we're just saying that Russia come over and attack or take over the resources or fishing around with Canada and take over Canada. You think that's going to be in the best interest of the United States? You know, the only reason why South America has been protected and Canada has been protected is because of the United States. They don't have real armies. The difference is that we didn't have such an overt shadow government. I look at everything from the Heritage Foundation playbook. And I hear what you're saying. Yeah, there's been a shadow government and there's always been some under the cover types of situations and things going on. But it ain't just the United States that has had shadow governments or who have had to have shadow governments. I don't think there was a lie about the reason. Two things can be true at once. 3 things can be true at once. Just because I'm saying I'm going over there to stop the flow of fentanyl or drugs don't mean that I'm not also there to look at the oil reserves. 2 things can be true at the same time. I don't have to say everything I'm there for. We know the underline for the overline. We already know it. So but again, it doesn't matter. Yeah, if you can kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Okay, we stop the flow of drugs coming in or whatever the case may be, or bring it down. Okay. Or bring it down. It don't matter. Or bring down the flow of drugs and or stop the cartels or whatever, however that go, or stop the influx of illegal immigrants coming in from Venezuela. Slow that down, whatever the case, and get a benefit of getting those people, they don't want the guy there anyway. You know what I'm saying? They don't want the people don't want this guy anyway, as you see, because they voted him out in 2024. He's gone. He ain't the president anyway. Got him out. And the United States got a footprint where China and Russia cannot infiltrate. as all countries, as all countries, as all countries. Can't nothing happen in no nair country that country don't know about. That's like nothing should be able to come into your house that you don't know about unless it's being snuck in or smuggled in, or unless you approve it. So the United States knows exactly what's happening and what's bringing in and what's being brought on. Of course, there's a whole economy behind that. But I'm going to put it like this. I'd rather control that economy than having somebody else have control over that economy. Okay, if there's drugs coming into my house, I want to control the flow. I don't want you to control the flow. I think America has been tested. I think America has been tested, and I think it's probably going to be more tested, and I think it's going to continue to be tested. But I think the United States have been tested for a long time. I think so much has been gotten away with from other countries, from different nations, that now that I believe that the United States is actually pushing back, saying, no, you can't do this anymore. No, we're not giving that anymore. No, we're not doing, nope, this not happening, boom, boom. Now, there seems to be, for some reason, our people of this country are a little bit like, still want to be status quo. I'm just saying we want to rationalize the destruction of democracy. I don't think so, because there wasn't democracy. There wasn't democracy. That was a dictatorship there. We want to rationalize the destruction of democracy where? Is democracy, what's happening with democracy here? People are still getting voted in, voted out. Things are not happening without you. Okay. How is the democracy? And I've heard that all the time. Democracy is being destroyed. Well, first of all, there's no really such thing. That's a whole nother conversation too. Is there a really such thing as democracy? This country is a republic. This country is not a democracy. It's a republic, meaning the people that we go ahead and vote in represent us. The majority vote wins, brings people in, whoever we want to represent us. We're a republic. And it's what their decisions, we vote a person in, ultimately it's what they decide that they want to do. That's a republic. And the republic for which it stands. We say we're a democratic society, but we really we vote in representation. And that was one of the main things about what the American War was the Independence War was all about. It was taxation without representation. Well, we're paying you, but we're not getting represented the right way. So that's why the country was founded on being represented. That was the main fight. So we never really was a democracy. That was a play on words. And it's still a play on words. They documented 900 pages about that outlining what this administration would like. 50% wanted. That it's better. You just said it's better than any other country. So you cool with them breaking laws, retracting civil rights, doing anything else other than America first? What question? I'm not down. I'm not cool with any. You got to show me where breaking, like where the laws are being broken. What rights are being you can't just tell me You got to show me what laws are being taken. If I hire you and you do a poor job, we usually vote people out, right? You get fired. Okay. What happens when you can't fire and you get to stay in office? Well, that's what happened with the guy from Venezuela. See, you giving me my own argument. The dude lost. It's supposed to be a democracy down there in Venezuela, right? He lost in 2024. He never left. Come on now. I'm seeing Trump 2028 flag. You know that's not gonna. Come on now. Come on, man. The man ain't running for no 2028. We talking about stuff that happened, not stuff that hasn't happened. What has happened, what you just said, is what happens when you get fired and you get to still stay in office. This guy right here. No, but we talking about this. It all is relative. Where has anybody got voted out of office here in the United States? Be it mayor, president, governor, legislative, executive branch, any of it, and they still were able to stay. Has that happened yet? We ain't seen it. We haven't seen it. So we can't talk on what if, you know what I mean, if it hasn't happened. And I get where you're coming from, but it's a lot of fear mongering. It's a lot of fear mongering. So what I'm saying at the end of the day, it ain't a Trump discussion that I'm really talking about. It's more of why what happened in Venezuela happened, why it happened. And just as bad as this country is in a lot of aspects, a lot of other countries is just as worse. You know what I'm saying? You got to remember, the United States is only a couple of 100 years old. These other countries are thousands of years old. So what history they got? If we are, what'd you say? If we are at war, there can be by peaceful transition. It can be by transition. Same as Ukraine, same as Israel. Be no peace. If we are at war, there can't be. Let me see what you're saying here. If we are at war, there can't be by peaceful transition of power. Same as Ukraine, same as Israel. I don't know what their thing is in Israel and Ukraine. What's my solution for what? If we're at war? For foreign policy? America first. In everything. In every single thing. Every country should be, they should be their whole priority, looking out for their country, their people first. That's the end of that's the foreign policy. If a country is at war, there can't be elections. There can be but elections. If a country is at war, there can't. I'm thinking you saying there can't be elections. I'm gonna look that up. If USA is at war, I swear to God, AI be hearing me. Yes, the election will be likely. This is what AI told me, or this is basically, let's read. Yes, a U.S. election would likely still happen, even if the country is at war, as president elections have occurred during past wars, like the Civil War, like World War I and II. See what I'm saying? See, we be saying stuff like, I'm not saying that, Black Mama, you just But I'm saying, like, there we go. That's your answer right there. And the Constitution mandates regular elections. So let's go back to read that. And the Constitution mandates regular elections. But wartime could complicate voting, potentially leading to legal challenges and calls for postponements. Outright cancellation is difficult with extraordinary legal changes. Why elections will continue. So I think you have nothing to worry about in 2028. There'll be a new president. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got to worry about that here. You ain't got to worry about that here. So, I mean, you know, that just lets you know right there. I mean, and these were the biggest wars that this country has ever, the country was fighting itself in the Civil War. And we was fighting the world in World War I and II. So, I mean, you can't get no bigger than world wars, can you? The Congress is a joke. They're breaking every law. The Supreme Court is a joke. Hey, it is what it is. But I'm not opposing to what you're saying. I agree with you with some things that you're saying. But I'm saying it's still better than everywhere else. You know what I'm saying? It's still, at the end of the day, it's still better than everywhere else. There's a reason, no matter how much of a joke it is, that everybody's still they killing themselves to get here. There's a reason why they want to come here. If you know, there's a reason. There's still opportunity still here. There is some freedom for me and you to get up and talk and do this, what we doing right here, right now. Where in a lot of places, we couldn't say nothing. We'll have to be in secret rooms talking and doing what we're doing right now, or debating or whatever like that. So for it to be, hey, for now, all we can worry about is the moment that we got and try to work forward for what we can bring or what we can come up. But for now, it's still better than over there. And for now, it's been better than any other place because everybody's still trying to get here. I don't hear about nobody from America running nowhere else trying to become a citizen and getting deported. Unless you're a criminal and you Russell Simmons or somebody and you leaving here and you trying to, you know, go to Honduras and seek asylum or something. Nobody's leaving here to run over to be a German. Nobody's leaving here to run over to escape and live in Peru by the mass numbers. Everybody's coming here. Why? If it's so bad. And why is everybody coming here? You know why? You know why? Because they able to get shit. Well, I ain't going to go nowhere else. I'm not going to go nowhere. I can't get nothing. For a tech guy, I would like you to look into what happens with your government and the tech sector and what is to come in the future. And it isn't fair, my God. Where's your mic? And was the government okay? You can ask or AI. No, I mean, well, I mean, AI. I think AI gave us a valid answer though, because I was wondering when you asked me that, like, well, wartime doesn't change that there's going to be an election though. That doesn't change just because you have a war going on that you cannot vote for a president or you can't vote. You can't, like, the president is going to stay in power. That's not right. And I've heard that many times, but I never even looked it up until you said something about that. So I'm glad that you said it because it reminded me to actually look that up. Because I've heard that so many times. Oh, he's gonna try to stay in and create a war so he can stay. Man, nobody gonna do all that. Just like Social Security was supposed to get cut off, it never happened. People was afraid of that. It never happened. Or people Pell Grants was about to. It's why Zelensky is still in office and okay, dude. And hey, I ain't got nothing to do with them over there. And quite honestly, the United States we really need to be talking about oh my God. Staying out of that, quite honestly. This is what I said earlier, and then I'm gonna let out of here because it's getting late. The United States, we have committed war crimes, absolutely. The United States have created war crimes. I'm not opposing you with that. Every superpower has committed war crimes. But just because the United States have committed war crimes don't mean that I want Russia or China at the borders. What I was getting ready to say. Okay. What I was getting ready to say was this, and then I'm gonna get out of here. I think, okay. I think us, mainly for real as black people, I can't really speak for other respected ethnicity groups. I think overall we should really look at the chess moves that's happening internationally, understanding more than two things can be true at once. Yes, the United States went into Venezuela, and there were a couple of reasons why. We all know underlying was oil. There's nothing wrong with that. The United States has been in Venezuela for years working with the oil industry. Hell, the United States has refineries that it helped build in Venezuela. So United States have had interest in Venezuela before China or whomever. So yes, the United States went in and took out a guy that wasn't supposed to be there anyways. The Venezuelan people wanted the man gone. He's gone. The drug trafficking has slowed down or almost completely stopped now that well, they're going to. This is going to happen. Russia and China, it's biblical. All this stuff is going to happen. But, how and when and how it happens. It's going to happen. But they're already in the playing field. So, if for real, what the United States is supposed to do? Sit back and watch them do every and other thing that they're doing. People be acting like China and Russia is just so holier than thou. And, the United States doing this or Russia about to do that and China. They fucked up too. So It's all chess at the end of the day. Yeah, the United States went in there. It stopped some drug flow. It got a bad regime dictatorship out of there. Yes, United States is trying to solidify some hold in there where there's some oil. Boom, bam, boom. But ultimately, what people are not thinking about, it is a military strategic hold. And if the United States did not do that, for real, secure, not only you still drive a car, you still fly a plane, you still got everything that requires oil and this and this and that. It ain't like you going in there stealing oil from the Venezuelan people. They're getting access into their oil. Shit, the Venezuelan people can't even fucking drill their oil. They don't even have enough money to make a fucking factories. Now, I'm not saying, so you going in there and you building factories, helping them people. It's all give and take. It's all give and take. You building the refineries for them to be able to do it, or built them. And I talked about this earlier, the refineries that were there is the United States that helped them do that, but the cartels took them over. So, look, at the end of the day, who do you want to control the oil? Somebody gonna control it, right or wrong. It's gonna happen. Let's get past what's right or wrong. Let's look at the fact of the matter. Who you want? Because somebody's gonna control it. United States, China, or Russia. Who you want? Hey, it's been like that. This conversation ain't gonna change nothing. It's always been about forced economic disparity. Little countries pair up with the big countries. Big fish swallow the little fish. That's how this country was built. That's how those other countries was built. That's just the fact of the matter. It ain't just happened with Venezuela. It's been happening, and it's always gonna happen until the one kingdom, the kingdom of heaven, comes. That's it. That's it. It's about who you and aligning yourself with. It's just like some street shit. Okay. You got the Bloods, you got the Crips. It's a lot of blood sets inside the Rolling 60s, and there's the Grape Street. There's a whole bunch of sets up under the blood flag. It's the same. Where do you think people learn it from? So it's a bunch of sets and hoods up under the flag. That's it. Where do we learn it from? Same as in your neighborhood where you grew up, in mine. Same as cities, same as states, up under the flag. It's always been forced economic disparity. This is not new. That's Apple and Tesla in Congo. It's okay as long as America gets its tech. Hey, look how a country get classified as third world. I'm not saying it's not wrong. It's not right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm not saying it's right. We know a lot of aspects of this is wrong. But if you feel like that, take your Apple phone and step on it. Or whatever it is that we can't look at the end of the day. If we looked at everything like how you saying it, we can't even be online right now. It's just what it is. Governments overtake governments. That's the way of the world, and that's the way it is. Shit, it's even like that in the United States against itself. It's just like Ohio and Michigan damn near went to war with each other. That's why there's no really, there's a rival between Michigan and Ohio State. over a strip of land that ain't nothing. They went to war basically almost over. So, I mean, it's all about economics, and that's what it's all about. But at the end of the day, even though it's about economics, who would you rather? I'm asking you, since you're asking questions, and I'm glad we having this talk. Who would you rather control the Venezuelan oil? United States? You got to give an answer. United States, Russia, or China? Tell me, who would you rather have control? If it's all about oil and it's about the control of the oil, who would you rather control it? United States, Russia, or China? It's surface, but that's where we are. Because the deep part of the conversation, people are not going to understand that shit. Exactly. So the United States, and that's where we are. And this is what we call home. So I don't back everything that the United States does. Not saying everything the United States does in its past and future going to be right, but this is where I'm at. And just, and Black Mama, this is your country. You don't believe in colonialization. And absolutely. But everywhere is colonialized. So what do we do? And even if we take it on a biblical level, when Christ returns, he's going to colonialize the whole world. So I'm with colonialization. It depends on just if it's just a righteous colonialization of a government. Because it says, per the Bible, biblical. And that's ultimately the main book that matters. When Christ returns, he's going to establish his government, meaning all the governments of the world going to bow to him. And he's going to be the king of all the governments of the earth. That's what the Bible says in Revelations. So he's coming to colonialize with his people, with his followers, the earth. That's what the Bible says. So I'm with colonialization if it's a righteous not a colonialization that we have here right now. No, it's not righteous colonialization. But at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying? Every piece of this world has been colonialized. So it ain't about is what you for, it's about what it is. The next book, Cause of Death, Culture, Autopsy, and Fabricated Divine Order drops. Gotcha. So these are the type of conversations that I like to have. They real fiery, you know what I'm saying? They real boom, boom, boom. It took a while for me to get my stream to work tonight, you guys. But yeah, I just wanted to drop a design on what's going on. I had a good time. I hope everybody had a great, whoever's listening, had a good time with their New Year's. I brought it in chilling, sitting. I didn't do much. I don't do much no more. I just sit around when I get free time. But I had a leading up to New Year's, was busy working, and I'm thankful for that. I'm going to be doing more advertising for the pod, you guys, 43700. Let me put this up for you guys real quick. 43700 Woodward Avenue, Bloomfield Township. Boom, here we go. Bloomfield Township. This probably ain't going to fill up the whole thing. Bloomfield Township, Michigan, where we do event live streaming. We just did a terrific live stream of the mayoral and city council and library board of city of Pontiac at Pontiac High. for the city of Pontiac, and I'm with the city of Pontiac. I thank them, and I love being there and working with them. I love my hometown. I love doing everything I can to try to give my best go. I love them for giving me opportunities to do that. Working with them. So did live stream the other day. With there, we do live event streaming, content podcast studio. You're going to be seeing more broadcasts. You're going to be seeing more marketing about the content studio. We do brand videos and ad production, social media management. We're getting into that. Real shorts and production. Event audio technician. Did the audio for that whole joint out there, Joe. Event photographer, meaning if you have something coming up, we do basic event photography. We don't do glamour shots, okay? Political campaign production. I did a lot of that this campaign season. Willing to look for and help some more. We do religion, educational production. So a lot of that going on. Also with the drone services, we do drone services. We do real estate, 3D map. We just added another drone into the fleet. So we got some real good stuff going on. 3D mapping, stockpile mapping, construction progression, meaning as each stage of the process of construction, we get that together. We do inspection, roofing, for inspections for roofs. Journalism, of course, we do those with the local newspaper here every now and again. When they call, I'm there. Law enforcement, if there's something that law enforcement needs, boom, boom, FP drone in event. So, if you need fly-throughs at an event, if you have a hostage situation, call me up. I can pull the drone through that joint. You know what I mean? So, but hopefully no hostage situations. No, none this year. But with that being said, you guys, hope you have a wonderful night. And he's captured. Goof for him. You know what I'm saying? And it is what it is. I hope you guys had a good night. I had a good time talking. And we get ready for the week ahead. You guys be prosperous. Chill out, relax, keep your mind, whatever you're going through, whatever's happening right now, keep your mind. Try to keep your mind. That's the hardest fight, keeping your mind of, amongst and amidst everything that's happening. Keep your mind as much as you possibly can, man, for real. Keep your mind. Lock in, right? And be prayerful. Watch your surroundings. Watch who you're around. And you don't have to be friends with everybody. Remember that, okay? You know what I'm saying? Treat everybody good and treat everybody with, respect. Respect is given, whatever. But you don't always have to be chummy with. A lot of people feel like they got to be friends with everybody. You don't have to be, okay? Just treat everybody right, though. Treat everybody, with respect. And if they can't respect you, you don't respect them, stay away from them. Stay away from them. And that's the only advice that I can really give. With that being said, keep God first, family second, and you third. In that order, you should never be made last, because the last is made first. Let's get it out of here.
Pumping left and running like I really don't want it. We been bending corners, bent like elbows, been in it where that cage go. Checking my mirror for them suckers. Coast clear, turn up that music like another this, that. Mink coat flow, I wrote this in the summer. Poolside high school, you motherfucker, to the rules we abide by on this side. Members only like the jacket. I grew up amongst some criminals, check their jackets. Known for action with them ratchets. While I was just cooling, writing raps, eating snacks and shit. 300 racks I spent just to sit in back and get high in the mud. Looking down on them scrubs. How could you hate your brother when I'm just like you? Except I did what I said that I would do. Erase the hate and let the sun shine through. Apply yourself, fool.